Hello, this is the first in a series of 4 videos that I'm going to be creating, full of tips and ideas to help you with managing and coping with those feelings of worry and anxiety that most of us get when we've got a test or exam coming up. And this first one is all about having a positive mindset. And together we're going to be creating something called a positive affirmation, or you might call it a mantra. And what that is a short statement or phrase that we can use during times of stress and anxiety to help to reassure us and calm us down. So we repeat it either in our minds or you can say it out loud. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not sure how repeating a few words is going to help me. You might feel a bit skeptical, or you might be thinking, oh, that sounds a bit weird or a bit hippie. But I promise you, there's been lots of research done into positive psychology, and things like this really can be very beneficial, but they have to be done the right way. So there are 4 things that we need to consider when we're making our own mantra to ensure that it is going to be impactful for us. And they are that it is specific to you, that it is realistic and believable, that it is kind and positive, as the name suggests, and also that it is short and memorable. So I will be going through all of those different stages of creating one now. Okay, so the first thing that we need to consider when we're making our positive affirmation statement is it has to be specific to you. We all have slightly different fears and worries when we go into a test or exam situation. So for example, if you are actually, your main worry in that situation is all about the feelings of anxiety that you get and what happens if you feel really anxious, or if you pass out, or if you're sick or something like that, there is no point in you creating an affirmation that's all around your test score, because you're not addressing the thing that you're actually worried about. So you need to get really clear on what your key worry or worries are so that we can address those specifically. Okay, so the second thing we need to consider when we're creating a mantra or an affirmation is that it needs to be believable. Our bodies and minds aren't silly, and they're going to detect if something doesn't ring true for us or isn't realistic for us. So, for example, if your main worry is that you are going to go to a different school from some of your friends or all of your friends, and you're all going to be split up, an unrealistic and unbelievable affirmation would be something like, no matter what happens, me and my friends will all go to the same school in the end. A more realistic one might be something like, no matter what happens, the people that are important to me will still be my friends. Okay, the third one is a really straightforward one, and you might think this is really obvious, but your positive affirmation has to be positive and it has to be kind. There's lots and lots of research out there showing that actually being compassionate and kind towards ourselves is a greater long-term motivator than beating ourselves up about things. So make your positive affirmation positive and kind to you. Okay, my last tip is to keep it nice and short. You want something that when you're feeling anxious and worried, you're going to be able to remember easily. So 1 sentence or maybe 2 sentences is more than enough. If you're writing out what you want your affirmation to be and it turns into a paragraph or even a page, that might be the time to get one of your grown-ups to have a look through it with you and get them to help you to pull out the key points and create a really memorable sentence or phrase. And my sort of bonus tip to make sure that you are going to get the most from creating your positive affirmation is to make sure that you are practicing it every single day in the run-up to your test. And do it at a time where you're feeling chilled and relaxed. So maybe just before bed, or if you have some special time with a grown-up, one-to-one every day, you could do it then. In fact, grown-ups, if you're watching this, that would be a really helpful way to do it, because it's going to supercharge that affirmation. Not only is your child going to get the benefit of having that affirmation that helps them to feel more in control and more calm in the situation, but their body and mind are going to remember the co-regulation that they're feeling from you during the times that you've practiced it together. So practice it every day at a time where you feel quite chilled, ideally with your grown-ups, and that is going to, as I say, supercharge your affirmation, so that when you come to the few days before or the day of the test itself, when you use that affirmation, your body and your mind are going to remember those good feelings that go with it.